Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an old cake. It's known as a lot of things. Currant slice, that's one. Sly cake, that's another. In this part of the woods, in my neck of the woods, we call it dead fly pie or fly cemetery, I've heard it known as. So I'm going to show you today how we make dead fly pie. I've got a Swiss roll tin which I've lined with a baking sheet, purely for ease, I've got to say, because I hate trying to get things out of baking tins. The number of scratches I get on baking tins, you do not want to know. So that's in there. The next thing we need to do is get some pastry. So this is an easy one, I've got to say, unless of course you try and make this yourself. We're going to be using puff pastry. So rough puff pastry if you want to make it yourself, but in my instance I'm not going to. I'm going to do it the easiest and quickest way I know how. This is ready rolled puff pastry. Put your oven on to gas mark 8 while you're waiting. We need it nice and hot. And unravel your pastry. I think you can see this. Yeah. So give it a good unravel. And it should be roughly the same size as your baking sheet is. What we need to do now is pop it into your baking sheet. So nice and easy does it. We always like it to be easy. As you can see, this is going to be super easy. If you want to be even super easier, you could leave it on this bit of paper, but I never thought about that. Pop it into the corners, make sure you get it into each and every corner. If you're not sure how to line a baking sheet or a baking tin like this one, then if you have a look at my little video on TikTok, I'll link it. I'll link my handle down below for you. So we need good old-fashioned currants. These ones are from Tesco's. And we're going to cover the bottom of our tray with our said currants. I told you this is going to be easy. There's no measurements to this, it's whatever your heart decides, which is what we like. But just a nice layer of currants. Ooh, tip them in, spread them out. Obviously, if you don't like currants, don't make this, or you could make it with sultanas or raisins if that's what you want, or you could mix up your fruit even, that would be nice. The dead fly pie comes from the actual currants. They look like horrible little dead flies, but we won't go into that too much because some people don't like that analogy. Make sure you get a nice covering across the base of your pastry. See, the thing with British cooking is that it uses what's available. Now, in years gone by, we didn't have fresh fruit and vegetables in the winter. There were only a few items that were actually able to be grown in England during the winter months, and fruit wasn't one of them. Even apples, they seem to come in the autumn rather than the winter, so the winter is pretty sparse in this country, I'm afraid. So they would dry their fruit and use it over the winter period, which is why we ended up with things like dried currants and so forth. They were always known as plums. Once you've done that, it's even easier. It's time to dot your currants with some blobs or knobs, as they call them, of butter. So just a few bits here and there. There's not a precise amount. It's just whatever your heart desires, as with a lot of things in life. But we're going to just dab a few bits hither and thither to give a bit of moistness to the pie. Once you've done that, it's time to top your pie with some more pastry. Puff pastry, shop-bought puff pastry. Going for ease today. And we're going to unravel it. I'll just put that forward a bit. And pop it on the top. So on it goes. And what we want to do is just seal the edges. So pop it on. Press it down towards the edges there, as you did before. Just take in the edges, just give it a bit of a crimp. Taking a fork, we just press down on the edges to create a nice edge. Now it's up to you how you decorate the top. The old way of doing it is to take a pair of scissors and just cut into the top all the way down. There we go. And then the last thing to do is taking an egg. We're going to beat the egg and we're going to brush it across the top of the pie. So taking a pastry brush, just give it a good old soak with egg. Some of the old recipes are the best really. Simple, few ingredients, easy to make if you're buying shop bought puff pastry, that is. Life's too short to make puff pastry in my opinion. But if you want to make rough puff pastry, you carry on. It's gonna go in the oven, gas mark 8. I'll put the electricity on the screen for you now. Gas mark 8 for 20 to 25 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it comes out the oven. And while it's still hot, get yourself some normal granulated sugar and a good old spoon. And we're going to scatter quite liberally some sugar over the top. And then we're going to wait till it gets cold before we cut into it. And enjoy it when it's cold.